Welcome back. This is a little bit of a wild update. It's been a while. Did decide that I was going to, in a non-fashion statement, come live for a bit of support and context. I have had quite a bit of clients lately, especially moving through the energy. Was going to come live a couple of days ago, but energy did not permit, and that's something that a lot of people at the moment are directly going through. And I thought giving you a bit of context might help you through this difficult time. Okay, so if you are experiencing difficulty, I'm coming to you live on YouTube with my pajamas. I should be in bed. I've just finished, with my clients for the evening, and I have to wake up at 3:30 tomorrow. So I'm coming to you with love from Perth, Western Australia. So we'll chime in. Hello, Giggle. I did PM you. I PM'd you in your inbox. And there is a lovely video in the members that does very, very distinctly resemble you, but you need to go and look at that. I'll leave it at that. We will say no more. Okay, so the context of the energy. A lot of people potentially from September last year have felt, I particularly feel many of us had made personal decisions way back prior to September, October last year. You'll hop over after. It's quite funny. I think I've watched it 50 times. It's very funny. So many of us, as I mentioned, in my belief, especially from circumstances I've been viewing, is that we were ready emotionally, physically, psychologically for a new beginning way back 2024 prior to September, October. We then were hit by two sets of eclipses, one the introduction to the North Node currently, and the other one linking to the North Node at the time. Or was it the South Node? It was the South Node. And we're kind of moving into that very soon. We then had Mars moving between two signs. It was retrograde. So I would say this has been one of the most difficult Mars retrogrades. It could be because of the axis and which zodiac signs are particularly impacted. I tend to feel this Groundhog Day, especially when you look at your rising, your ascendant, your sun. The transits for me pretty much since 2017 have been kicking my butt. So if that is something you're going through, I totally sympathize. We also did have Chiron in Pisces way back when. I believe it was between 2017 and 18. I don't have the exact date, but I did know that when we were going to shift into the North Node in Pisces, there were particular key things we'd have. And, a lot of shadow work can directly be involved. At the moment where it does come to you wanting your new beginnings, there can be some frustration. There can be some feeling almost like doom and gloom. We did have the moon transiting Scorpio. The sun's just entered into, I believe, Pisces, 18th of February. So if you are watching on the opposite side of the world, this is tomorrow for you, potentially, or the wee hours of the morning. The sun will enter into Pisces. Now, when it comes to the context of where you're going, we can have a lot of downloads, and it's really good at the moment if you are having any creative ideas to actually write them down. There's also a risk with the moon coming up in Pisces very soon. I'll get the exact date, and I wanted to come to you for that significant reason, plus for the shadow sign of Virgo, which I'll try and do the eclipse video. As I mentioned, I am wanting to bring more content to you guys. So February the 28th, we will have the new moon in Pisces at 9 degrees. What you do need to be aware of is dream states can be extra. Psychic attacks are possible. Wanting to tap into escapism. So if, for instance, prior to Mars going direct, let's get the exact date that Mars going direct, I'm just waiting. It's inches away. The 24th, it will be stationed. Do not make any rash decisions when it's stationed. Try to keep your irritability factor as neutral as possible. That might be difficult, but your energy should, in the next few days, start gaining momentum as we do reach closer to it. Now, it's a little bit like you've been out in the Sahara and you're really tired and you're frustrated and you're wanting to move life forward. And you're saying to yourself, you're holding yourself to such a high regard, and that's where the shadow sign of Virgo comes in. It's like, why haven't I got to where I want to be? Why hasn't this person got their life together? Why is everything going wrong? And so this projection and this self-critique could come through. There is a risk where we may just want to escape. And so you may find yourself avoiding the tasks that you need to do. And it was always going to be difficult going to Mars retrograde. I tend to really keep an eye on that transit and go, you know what, I really need to get all my crap done because we are going to be pushing shit uphill. Let's just be real. And it's a time when we need to reflect. We need to, it's like going into hibernation and then coming back out renewed. Now, it's going to take, even though we will have energy, we don't want to burn ourselves out. So we do need to go into this with those energy resources coming back online resourcefully, okay? We're not going to burn the candle at both ends. Or you may have not recovered enough to achieve the things you want to do. Very similar to those of you who experience ascension. For those of you who haven't experienced ascension before, how could I best describe it? We have waves, and this is something the collective can go through. You'll have waves where you'll feel empowered and dynamic and everything's going right, and then you'll hit a wall. And then you feel you're back to square one, you've got no reserves, everything's diabolical, my whole life's over. You know, it's this push-pull. So we do tend to learn during those energy resources is use it while you can. Maybe focus on one task at a time, especially if you are emotionally triggered and you're frustrated by various areas of your life. It is much better to focus on what you can control right now. Some of the transits can be impacting those factors. It's not, I'll repeat myself again, it is not that you are not going to have your forward momentum. It is that physically at this point in time, we are asking the impossible and it is divinely guided based on the transits. So try to not fight with it. Be the tree, flow in the wind. If you need to, go break some plates, be angry, express it. It's important. It's important to acknowledge how you're feeling. So it's not discounting the frustration you're feeling. Still assess the red flags that are coming up. Now, the red flags could be with the workplace. It could be with a, again, look to your chart for where I would say it's going to move back again. So Cancer, Capricorn, shadow signs of each other. Leo, Aquarius, Pisces, Virgo, Aries, Libra. Those areas particularly can have some significance to you. But again, subjects to do with families. All my clients that have been coming through so far either have had subjects relating to their personal emotions, a physical home environment dynamic, and we've seen that on the news everywhere, to do with maybe being displaced in a home or you know, wanting to buy a home, wanting to build a home, looking at interest rates, whatever it is, Mars and Cancer. Children, parenting, things to do with your mother, things to do with your own feelings. We also, with Mars in its retrograde in the House of Cancer at the moment, it can be where we are empathizing a lot and we could be enabling individuals in particular areas because we understand, you know, because Cancer's not, it's not that Cancers won't rock the boat, don't get me wrong. It's that those two dynamics together can almost feel like you're having to be quiet for a reason to neutralize it so it doesn't escalate. Now, as it goes direct, that whole thing could change. Could we be more, could we see protests? We could see protests. We could see movement, growth. We could see changes to do with housing. We could see feminine speaking out more, but there's a myriad of things that can happen. It can be aggressive. So I would say definitely look after your home security, nurture yourself, don't burn yourself out, acknowledge the things that you need, take steps to address the areas of life And it can be that you are actually becoming more assertive now. And after meditating upon those areas of Cancer and Leo in your birth chart, you may now find as Mars goes direct, you want to address those things. Now, some people might come to a crunch where both parties in the mix, depending on the house it's falling in your zodiac sign. And feel free at any time to shoot any questions, especially if something you're not particularly understanding or you need more context before or after the video. So some people can be concerned because we're going to be going into eclipse season. We're also going to be having a Mercury retrograde, a Venus retrograde. It's like right when we're moving forward, we're moving back. Now, we're really cleaning up shop relating to the past, assessing the new versions of who we are, what our values are, how we feel, where our confidence is, how we're going to address those things. Now, it doesn't mean don't do anything. No, I'd say it doesn't mean that. Is it okay for relationships? Now, the way I described this to a client today was you effectively, if you have had a relationship with a person and you're on the rocks, or there has been some misunderstandings, you theoretically could look at a Venus retrograde as a therapist. You're in a simulation going through it, and I call it the good, the bad, and the ugly. So you're going to see those stages in no set orders, but 9 times out of 10, it's very romanticized. It's almost like all that glistens is gold at that point in time. Thank God this person's back, and Venus isn't just to do with romance. Venus can be to do with money, contracts, partnerships, the things we value. And again, it will depend on what house this particular Venus is landing in, and do then look to your own personal Venus also, because it's still Venus in a signification. It will shift between theoretically 2 signs, ingress back out. So again, I do say that we do pick up on both signs. Mercury also in the mix is already playing up. I was picking it up gradually through this week, but I'm already seeing it, so energetically. So in it, if you are actually dealing with a person of the past, is it bad? No. Now, if you do meet somebody that is new, is that bad? No, but go into it very open-minded, because the 9 times out of 10, what can happen is that something of the past comes up that needs to be addressed, be it a physical, emotional, psychological, or other. So you may need to be patient for those 40 days during its retrograde. I do think on this occasion, it's very individual. It's interesting because Aries is very, in a sense, it is the house of self. So we may all individually take things personally. We may individually want our desires to be met. And we also may be changing. A lot of us have changed, but we haven't actually realized how much we've changed. Having Pluto move out of Capricorn and really moving into the air energy of Pluto and Aquarius, I feel it was very important and quite significant that these transits happened in the fashion that they did. So this is an opportunity for us, in accents with all the retrogrades, and as it goes direct, to reassess who the new version of us is. Be it's what you want to look like, your fashion sense, your style, your attitude, what you now value personally. And that can be very individual for all of us. So it might be in relationship to wealth. It could be your personal value system. It could be that you do become more assertive and really put your energy into creating a sense of value. A lot of us will be changing wealth. This also, between the Pisces moon, which is very Venusian in energy, it can be quite lucky. Lucky, but also, how could I explain it? Many of us, if we are looking at a circumstance and we're saying to ourselves, I'm not where I want to be, it could be that we're using very creative ideas to find ways to create that. really outside the box ways. And that's why I said it could be quite important to actually journal. You could be having some radical ideas. I mean, today alone I had 4, and I'm like, I really need to write that down because I tell you, I'm going to forget. Thought processes and intuition can get quite mixed. We also, between the Pisces, Mercury retrograde and the Virgo eclipse, crosswise can happen. Are there any questions? I'll read some of the comments. Roll call here. Hi, Cosmic Journey. How are you? Definitely been hibernating, feeling great. Look, I've been going down the rabbit hole of watching a lot of mini-series. That's while I'm in bed, I must admit. It's like I don't have personal times. When I do, I need a bit of time to unwind. Bad me. And I found myself in that relaxation dream state. You know, Avatar was actually made around energy of Pisces. So it's quite Neptunian in nature. It can be quite Mills and Boons or dreamlike. But we also need to be very careful with this Pisces moon that is occurring. What did I say, the 24th, or was it the 28th? 28th. Okay, so 23rd, Neptune's going to conjunct the North Node. Interesting. Where is it? Okay, so 24th. I'm telling you, we're paddling 18th, 19th, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. A week. Are we excited? I can tell you, I'm bloody excited. Weather patterns also can be changing. So, you know, depending on where you are in the world, for Australia, we were having fog, we were having a lot of humidity, extreme heat. That was really the dichotomy between Aries and the Pisces North Node. So it was always going to be a potential that we would have that. In some places, what you will find with this moon moving closer to Pisces and then the eclipse, what you can find is more fog, more weather conditions changing. Pisces can be snow, fog, water, floods, subjects to do with fish, subjects to do with chicken. That was another thing, and I was going to mention it more so in the eclipse video, but I think already we are getting kind of the shadow energy of these retrogrades. And so the particular areas we might see recalls could be in the following areas. I would say health supplements. It could be medication. It may be particular foods. And, you know, when it comes to food-related subjects and a Venus retrograde, growing things, I would probably delay planting. If you're growing something, you're going to need to nurture it. It's going to need a lot more nurturing during a Venus retrograde. Issues with eggs, issues with fish, issues with chicken, potential. Meat also, but I see that moving forward. I would say this year, I do feel this year, some subject to do with meat. Basically because of the placements of Aries. Mosquitoes can be on the increase as well. Working, getting much better, though. Thank you for the encouragement. I'm glad to hear. So, what major subjects are each of you actually dealing with right now? Have you been traveling through it okay? The Pope also was on television. Pisces can be the Pope. It is a new moon. Yeah. Usually I break down the countries. I'll probably do that more so inside the eclipse video for the update. It will be predictions. It will be subject matters, maybe tips and advice. It could be the countries that are directly involved with this path and, you know, how those things can be changing. Getting work and business sorted out, not traveling. Yeah, I was having a chat to a co-worker, and the boss's wife was like, she always says don't travel. Jupiter and Gemini, I already saw just before I came live. There was, and I think it was in Canada. There was a plane crash and it landed upside down and everyone's okay. And I'm like, Gaia, Pisces, was actually watching over those people, thank goodness. But in a sense of travel, if you natally had that in your chart, what I have seen as the potential, it can be that it's more divinely guided. You're actually protected. It was preordained. Hard aspects and the fact that, one is large, one is small. Jupiter is expansion. Gemini is kind of like local. It's a combination between a car and a plane. Yes, we could have flying cars. There will be subjects to do with that, I'm sure, quite a bit. But it just makes me wary, especially with Mercury going retrograde in Aries. Yeah. So at the moment, I'll probably Bali's. I said to her, when are you back? She goes, oh, no, don't tell me that. And I go, when are you back? And I'm like, oh. And, sometimes it's just something as trivial as you don't enjoy it as much, or you lose your airplane ticket or your passport, or there's delays at the airport due to weather. Pisces, Virgo can be health. I mean, we can't live under a rock, let's be real. We can't. We do need to live. So if it's needed, we have to throw caution to the wind. Any questions? Are we anticipating movement with love? Are we making some bold decisions with career? Are there subjects to do with home and family? Has depression spiked for you? How have you been doing? Some people have been expressing that, which, like I said, Scorpio at the moment, the moon being in Scorpio, it can be that you feel more private. It also could be all of a sudden you feel very clingy. You would like a hug. You want some affection and love. How else would I describe it? If you're busy, sometimes you can avoid some of the pitfalls, especially with vibrations. But if there are no questions, I will love you and leave you, and hopefully this finds you well. Try to move through the vibration. Hopefully some of these gave you some tips, guided to pour more energy into my business because my job isn't looking too promising. Yeah, look, from the Virgo Pisces axis, your zodiac sign, and the thing is, sometimes we do actually look at things, and a lot of people are actually doing two jobs. A lot of people are, or looking at it and going, I have to. But a lot of us are going to be making very spiritual decisions of what feels more conducive with our life. And so, make sure that your business is something you're passionate about, because it could be the vibration of being home over the vibration of being in a workplace. Does that make sense? So it's almost like a lifestyle. So you can also have a lifestyle as well as a career, but it could be that you still do end up tweaking it. I took on a second job and it's well, I'm doing two jobs. So initially thinking it was going to be a 2:30 job, at the end of it, finishing at 2:30. And I have done it for a while, but balancing has been difficult. But yeah, that many times, especially from 2020, and with the moon kind of moving into Pisces, we're spiritually looking at how we can create more balance in our lives. And that's collectively. How do we care for our health? How do we do things differently? Is it, and I said this before, is it organics? Do I need a checkup? How can I change some systems and some routines? How can I be kind to myself and not be so critical with myself? You know, many jobs can be transitioning. I was researching this the other day because a lot of times when we talk about AI, things changing in that domain, it can actually create a lot of fear because we're going into the unknown, especially moving away from Pluto and Capricorn. We're moving into this new vibration. We're kind of easing into it. Well, I can't say we're easing into it. We're being thrown into it. Um, in one way, it's almost like you could say better the devil you know than the devil you don't, but then we're going into uncharted territory. And this is for all of us collectively, but it's very intuitive. So it's exchanging of ideas and finding our tribe and finding who we connect with. AI, technology. Oh my gosh, is AI going to take my job? Is AI the way? And I think we need to be very selective. I think we need to be very cautious about how we're proceeding forward, but also being aware that we do need to be ahead of the curve with things. So what I did start researching, and we could directly use YouTube as an example, and it was something that I looked into. I was like, out of curiosity, here is one prime example where it's a very, very big business. And I'm sure they had a lot of employees way back when. It was very structured. And I was like, okay, in 2025, what are we looking at here? And you can go ahead and Google it yourself, and that can give you an example. Do your own research of an example how AI, the algorithm, things were changed, and we directly now have theoretical a system, so to speak, that is what we would think is replacing a lot of jobs. Is it? You know, because we have, when we look under a house, you have the housed area, and it could be admin stuff, it might be IT, tech, but then there's external, you know, and so what we can initially think in the sense, and this is where information's power, it's good for us to do our research, is that in a way we're thinking the business, okay, let's research how many people with a technology company actually has how many employees. Has it made more jobs or has it taken away? But then you look further. Well, there's the technology. Okay, there's and that's another business. There's the cabling, there's another business. There's the other thing. So it has theoretically created more jobs when you look at it, because I can name a couple of things I use to host YouTube videos. So I have Canva, I have a website, that's more technology. I have a membership site. What else? I have StreamYards, technology, more business, people working at that place remotely and internally. So we can look at some of these companies that are going through changes, and it can create fear, especially with the schooling system. And we're like, oh my God, what is that going to mean? I think at the moment, things will be unclear. As we have transits moving direct, things can become more clear. But again, we will need to use our intuition with things, and there will be very strong beliefs, and there will be things that, you know, do come up, but we'll see as we go. We're all going through it together. Any questions? Anything you would like to share as I'm drinking my hot chocolate before bed? It's cold now. So, Cosmic Journey, you've changed. Well, it's funny that you mention this, because we are having the new moon in Pisces, which does mean a transition. You have emotions associated to moon, home-based business, and a new chapter. Virgo, Pisces. I mean, from the Virgo axis, yes. In your own individual chart, you'll always get the collective energy from the zodiac sign and then your individual birth chart, and you should look at both. You'll get a signature of both. And again, it can be, do I receive value from this? Because like I said, Venus will bump between that energy, Pisces, then Aries, then, you know, it's going to move back. So for you, it can be the axis of what you feel, right? It can be Am I getting value out of this? No, I'm not. Can I create value over here? It is a new chapter. It can take some time. Working with my daughter, cleaning, staging, and sounds fun. Sounds fun. Hi, Dawn. Well, remember the tips, Leonix, especially for you relating to eclipse. You do have subjects around accommodation coming up, and family, and home. 3, 4, 5, 6. You have the Mercury retrograde in the 9th house, so there can be crosswise associated to travel, a person in a foreign country, movement, a love interest. It also could be like, where is this going? Yeah, creativity at the moment is going to do real well. I also see, it's interesting when I'm looking at fashion, what you are going to see. I went on Fashion Nova, and it was like, let me see some other things coming through and how this is going to go. What we are going to find as we do end up having a lot of these planets move is there can be a lot of masculine vibrations coming through with fashion. So it can be very staunch. I've got no idea. Did anyone else get a notification? A lot of times it can be that we need to go back into our settings and to reset them all together. We do have a pending Mercury retrograde, so anything's possible. I've had a lot of technology at the moment quite glitchy. Computers, I've had the telephone where they're not syncing in. Sweet. Yeah, so sometimes it can be deleting the app and reconnecting, and it could be that there's a bug on the phone. So yeah, just do your upgrades if you know those upgrades that come to your phone and it's like you need to do an upgrade and you're like, swipe, I'll do it later. Yeah, do it. Check your logins. Be careful of any spam emails, spam text messages. Your parcel's arrived, but we're having issues. It's stuck. You need to contact us. Yeah, don't. Okay, did you buy a parcel? Come on, we know these things. Yes, Dawn, all I can say, number one is the new website, the new membership site. And I'm still like, the new membership site, you can literally go into, and that's something that's coming up for the members. We are transitioning the membership site because it actually has hosting abilities for me to create courses, education, coaching sessions, events, webinars. They got their room. So it was something that was everything under one roof. And I was sick of looking for tools. And I do know, and I think it's great, and I still may use some of those things on YouTube where they are going to be bringing courses where they can be in units and they can be sold on YouTube. But again, for integrity and protection of content, as well as, when you're in a close group, you're having that intimate connection with the group, you're actually getting to know the individuals, you're getting to support the individuals through their trials and tribulations, and it becomes more than just the content. It does become a community and a safe hub where we can lean in on each other and get to know each other through those times where we can cheer you on, and we can also just go, hey, we're having a shitty day. So that membership site, if you, for instance, were going to the event page and there was a particular event you wanted to attend, you end up in this within the Mighty Network that I'm going to be hosting. You can select the event and it will add it to your calendar. It's a downloadable app, very similar to anything else we have these days on our phone. And you have your own profile. You can go room by room, what you want to look at, be it astrology, twin flame paths. So a lot of those things we do tend to get on YouTube, which, I hope that changes. I hope it does. It's been a little bit of a hindrance for me as a business owner. and for a content provider that we do get within 24 hours 3 posts. So sometimes if I've actually edited a post, it's deemed as another. If I am then giving content on a particular day, I mean, in the old days, it would be I was basically putting out 12 videos a day, because I'm very adamant that I want to bring the audience what they want. And in fairness, I tend to like to provide that content in one hit so everyone can go to their zodiac sign. A lot of things have changed, which has directly impacted it. And I think, it might have been relevant for certain channels, but for astrologers and psychic mediums and tarot readers, it was quite a hindrance for their channels. So we really had to go the long way around. For a while there, I was actually posting on my website, which was actually making more work for me, something that was quite a natural automation. It should really be, in my eyes, an opportunity where the person can select what they want to see. I mean, these days, it's almost like we're psychologically forced to remember our favourite channels, or we're hoping on a whim we're going to come across them again. So it's a bit of a shame, but I think after, it's been 8 years now on YouTube, this was the solution to that, where I don't need to double handle. I don't need to create a post to notify you that I'm going live or what's going on. It just does it for me. So I schedule things. You'll get your content as you had. You'll have your chat rooms. You'll have event rooms, webinars, coaching sessions. So it's all under one roof. So that is the hope. I do have a waiting list. It is on the website. I believe the information will be directly below. And where you go to the website, the very first tab at the left on the computer, if you click on it, one button will drop down and that will take you directly to it. But I do believe the exact page is pasted directly below this video. And it's basically a landing page of what the new membership will be. It's very different to what we have right now. At the moment, we have the content, we then have Discord, and we have chats in there every day. It could be anything down to astrology or, how to deal with the trigger. We do workshops here and there and have a laugh. So that will still be coming with us, and then more. I did an upgrade a few weeks ago, so maybe I'll delete the app and reinstall. Yeah, and then just go into your settings. It can be your settings. Sometimes if we've turned it off, no notifications. Within the actual Discord, that automatically should update you. But it depends. If you've turned notifications off, it's just about chiming in and saying, yeah. I mean, I tend to leave things on and I just mute the phone when I'm going to bed. That's what I try to do. But yeah, Mercury retrograde is a great time to back up everything. There can be some updates. Update your logins. And then after it goes direct, update your logins again. Be careful of spam emails. Check your bank accounts. There could be some things coming out that shouldn't have. I'm here. I'm just not awake. I will have to go back and listen. Yeah. Well, it's got a lot of bits and bobs in there between now and, our eclipses and some certain tips. So hopefully you find it useful. I will soon have to go because I have to wake up at 3 a.m. and then clean my house and go to work and then come home and cook and clean and then do more content. So, yeah, the build out of it has been a bit of a task. I had to test a couple of sites to see what was going to fit more. And even though I am going to move the membership over, hopefully with some alterations I'm doing in my personal life, it is going to give me a day's grace where I can actually start providing more content or come to you sleep deprived and provide that content. One way or another, it's going to happen. But I do know we do need to under-promise, over-deliver, so I'm hoping I'll do it that way. But anyway, for those of you that are members, don't forget to I have pinned the message. It gives you instructions on how to get your first offer, because there's group 1, group 2, group 3 for the offers of the new membership. Those that are there this week will get the link. There is a pinned message, and it gives you the instructions on how to be on the list for it inside the membership. So if you haven't emailed the email of the business, which is the name of it's going to be called Sage in a Circle Network, email that email and follow the instructions on the info. I will add you to that list. When it's all ready to go, I will send you guys the link. And then you will gain access to the new network. And I'm a little bit worried because it's Venus retrograde. So you could go, oh, this is great. Oh, I hate it. I'm being honest. It's a Venus retrograde. Even though we're getting in beforehand, we're living through it. We could look at it as a simulation. We could go, you know what, Yildiz, we'll just go on there and we'll tell you what we love and what we hate. And then we can tweak it. It has taken me about 4 months to build it. You wouldn't think it walking in there. So any questions about membership? Any questions about something that's going on with you? Otherwise, I will hit the road. I hope this has helped. You're most welcome, Chris. Take care, love. Try to be patient during Venus and Mercury retrograde. Are we looking forward to it? I'm like, can we just have like 1 month without a retrograde? Just for a while. After Mars retrograde, it feels like it kicked our ass. Yeah. Those of you in America, very cautious with your safety around Mars direct. Very, very cautious. Okay. I will try. Take care, guys. It's been good to see you again.